Let's stand up for the national anthem. Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee, but together we'll always stand.
We shall now have a word of prayer from the Acting Director, NCDC, Ms. Angela Chagaba.
Let us pray. Father in heaven, Father, we pray that as we receive the results, that your glory will continue to be most high, and that Father...
I would like at this time to quickly introduce the members of staff. The Acting Director, NCDC, kindly stand for recognition. Mr. George Opiro, Commissioner Guidance and Counseling. Ms. Chikome, Mr. Daniel Odong, Deputy Executive Secretary, Secondary UNEB. Mr. Hamis Kaheru, the PRO, UNEB. Mr. Ocham Ringa, introduce the Executive Secretary for UNEB, Mr. Matthew Bukenya. And the Chairperson for UNEB, Mr. Fajil Mande. I now would like to take this opportunity to invite the Executive Secretary for UNEB, Mr. Matthew Bukenya, to carry on with the function. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, MC, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Minister of State for Higher Education, Chairman UNEB, members of the board, senior officials from the Ministry of Education and Sports, senior officials from the Ministry for UNEB, other members, dignitaries present here, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, with pleasure, the Uganda National Examinations Board presents to you results for the year 2013 Uganda Certificate of Education examination for release to the public in accordance with Section 44 Paragraph 2 of the Uganda National Examinations Board Act, Chapter 137 of the laws of Uganda. The examination was conducted between the 14th of October and the 22nd of November 2013 under the theme Responsible Use of Power and Teamwork for Quality Assessment. Honorable Minister, I am glad to report to you that the 2013 Uganda Certificate of Education examination was conducted successfully through the country and there was no leakage of the examination at all. Honorable Minister, the candidature was unlike in the year 2012, where candidature dropped. There was a significant increase in this year by 26,588 candidates from the 2012 candidates who were 268,906 who registered for the examination in 2012. The increase was to 295,768, and that is an increase of 10%. This is an increase of 37%. Of these, 129,853, that is 43.94%, were universal secondary education beneficiaries. This is an increase from 37.95%, indicating that more of the UCE candidates this year benefited from government sponsorship. Honorable Minister, Uganda Certificate of Education Examination Centers, which presented the candidates, increased from 2,788 in 2012 to 2,889, and that was an increase of 101 centers. In 2013, 289,1212 candidates appeared for the examination, compared to 262,987 candidates who appeared for the same examination in 2012. This is an increase of 26,025 candidates. Female candidates who appeared for the examination, excluding those whose results have been withheld, were 137,276. This is an increase of 4.9% of total candidature and 97.7% of registered female. What is significant is the closing gap in enrollment between females and the males and the high completion rate. The Universal Secondary Education Program has also enabled many otherwise disadvantaged children who do not have managed to reach General Certificate of Education level to do so. Honorable Minister, statistics of the number of candidates who registered for and those who sat the Uganda Certificate of Education for the last 5 years are given in a table which is just below. That table is quite clear. I may not take a lot of time on that. What is not there, absenteeism of candidates increased slightly by 0.1% if you compare that to that of 2012. Honorable Minister, paragraph 5, I would like to give you the general performance of candidates in Uganda Certificate of Education 2013 compared to that of 2012 Uganda Certificate of Education Examination. Performance of candidates who sat in 2013 and 2012 in terms of division passes is compared in this table to down below. The table, so I think, is quite clear. We may look at it in details later on. In the interest of time, I would like now to continue. But the figures there, again, don't include those results which have, in the meantime, been withheld. The overall performance in 2013 has dropped compared to that of 2012, although not significantly. Performance of candidates in 2013 in various subjects is compared to that of 2012 performance of candidates in the same subjects in table 3. The figures also don't include the withheld results. UNEP has continued to run an examination center in Ruzira Upper Prison for the inmates. In 2013, 34 inmates sat for the examination. Of these, 1 obtained Division 1 and 9 obtained Division 2. 6 were in Division 3, while 18 passed in Division 4. None of them failed. However, this year, no female inmate registered for examination. Special needs education candidates registered for the 2013 Uganda Certificate of Education examination were mainly the blind candidates, deaf, dyslexics, and those severely physically handicapped. The board made arrangements which included modification of question papers, provision of questions written in braille form, and having support personnel for the handicapped and dyslexics. Candidates with no vision received question papers with enlarged print to enable them to read more easily. All special needs education candidates were allowed an extra 45 minutes in each of the paper they did. Honorable Minister, as I said, the table number 3 gives comparison of 2013 and the 2012 performance in selected subjects. And these are English language. I think this is the table, but the table has got the details of comparison. I think maybe you can note a few. English language, I think performance in 2013 at grade 2, grade 6, and grade 8. Of course, grade 2 is a distinction, and the grade is 6, and the pass is grade 8. In that order, the people who passed the English language were slightly more. In the division, in the grade 8, were about 74.6% compared to that of 70.8%. There were some other improvements in some of these subjects, as you may see, but of course the worst done subject here we have, when you note it, it would be the chemistry, which was quite poor really done. The number of candidates who passed this year, 30.5%, whereas in the other year, 2012, were about 35.3%. You'll be noting that when you get what I'm reading. Honorable Minister, in the large interest subjects, overall pass level improved in Christian religious education, Islamic religious education, history and biology, mathematics and English improved at the upper grades. However, pass levels in the core science subjects still remain very poor, with over 50% of the candidates unable to demonstrate the basic competences, with chemistry being the most worrying, as I noted, you noted down in the other sheet which we have the tables. Noticeable drop in performance has been recorded in that chemistry and geography, agriculture, and physics. Comparison of male and female performance. This is table 4. In table 4, we compare the performance of female and male candidates in selected subjects expressed in terms of cumulative percentages at the indicated levels. This one also can always go into details when you get this copy which I'm reading. Honorable Minister, we have Honorable Minister, we have to note that female candidates performed better than males in English language and literature in English, while the male candidates performed better in other large interest subjects. Percentage passes at different divisions are compared in table 5, which you have below. This table again is quite clear. What is to be noted maybe is that again, in Division 1, we had Division 1 and the two, again the males, I think they were more in the Division 1 than the females. The table confirms better overall performance by male candidates at the higher grades. Paragraph 5, we have challenges in the UCE examination. The conduct of the examination in the field was generally quite smooth and peaceful. The main challenges were examination malpractice. The board made strenuous efforts to control examination malpractice. No leakages occurred anywhere, but other forms of malpractice occurred inside the examination rooms due to acts of omission or commission by invigilators, subject teachers, and school heads in some cases. Cases of impersonation, collusion, some external assistance, and smuggling of unauthorized materials into the examination rooms were detected by the scouts. Most of the cases of external assistance were discovered by the examiners in the course of marking the scripts. Evidence available indicates that candidates received assistance mainly in science practical papers, theory papers, and mathematics. Teachers involved carried out the experiments and supplied the answers to candidates. In the science theory and mathematics papers, the assistance was provided through worked solutions on pieces of paper that were then passed around in the examination rooms for the candidates to copy. The board worked closely with a team of senior police officers seconded by the Inspector General of Police to follow up cases in the field. Convictions have been secured in some of the cases, while court hearings of several other cases are going on. Some other cases are awaiting completion of investigations or sanctioning by the resident state attorneys in various districts. In accordance with Section 4, Paragraph 3 of the UNEP Act, Chapter 137 of the Uganda laws, the board is withholding the results of slightly over 1,800 candidates to allow completion of investigations and accord the suspected persons a hearing. Final decisions will thereafter be made. Honourable Minister, when investigations are concluded, UNEP will forward the names of those persons believed to have abetted the malpractice to the relevant authorities for appropriate action. Action including withdrawal of centers will also be taken against some of those schools which would be involved. The list of names of centers from which results of significant numbers of candidates are being withheld, and the actual number of candidates is attached. The nature of malpractice suspected will be communicated to them as they pick the results. Paragraph 6, Honourable Minister, we are now talking about performance of the candidates. The Uganda Certificate of Education Examination had objectives of testing the acquisition of knowledge and skills in various learning areas tested. The structure of English language paper 1 was modified to ensure the testing of functional literacy skills, that is soft skills. Papers tested comprehension, application, and analytical skills, manipulation of scientific apparatus, science process skills of making observations, recording observations and other data, drawing inferences or conclusions from observations, data presentation and interpretation, among others. Papers also tested application of knowledge in problem solving and in novel situations. These candidates awarded Division 1 and Division 2 were able to demonstrate high level of knowledge and skills in subjects they took. Those in Division 3 represents a moderate level of competence. Candidates at this level demonstrate knowledge but are not able to deal with the higher order level skills. Division 4 represents basic, that's the minimum, a level of competency. Candidates at this level showed the ability to understand elementary concepts and skills only. Those who are awarded Division 9 have not achieved the basic level of competency required to be graded. Areas of weaknesses, as shown mainly by candidates in the lower divisions, are briefly cited here below. 1. Effect of language deficiency in performance. Candidates in those categories also showed poor mastery of English language, evidenced by difficulty in understanding the meaning of essential words used in questions, leading to misunderstanding questions and subsequently presentation of irrelevant answers. Inability to draw meaning from passages or make summaries. As reported last year on our minister, teachers at some centers are encouraging students to cram passages from English language texts or what they call model compositions, and to reproduce these irrelevantly in answering English composition questions. In humanities, answers to questions requiring explanations or descriptions suffer from language deficiency already mentioned above. Higher order questions and those that require candidates to draw from their knowledge and experiences were badly answered. The continued use of pamphlets by teachers and the candidates has negatively affected the candidate's performance. Where an explanation or a description is required, candidates write answers in outline form and in the pamphlets, as they are in the pamphlets, and they lose marks as a result of that. There is evidence that the use of prescribed textbooks in teaching is being avoided by many teachers in performance in preference to the pamphlets. Performance in sciences continues to be poor for the majority of candidates. As can be seen from Table 3, only about 45% on average reach the minimum competency level. In mathematics, poor performance has been constantly shown in the areas of construction of graphs, solving of simultaneous equations, skills of geometrical construction, vectors, the set theory, fraction expression, and computation of compound interests, among others. We have reported this in previous statements we have given. Honourable Minister, in science, there is evidence of lack of practical teaching, despite the tremendous efforts made by the Ministry of Education and Sports in supplying laboratory equipment to schools. Honourable Minister, candidates found problems in handling of apparatus during the practical tests, as well as making a recording observation and drawing conclusions from those observations. Tabulation of experimental results and interpretation of the results, among others. The low achievers have problems found, difficulties with questions requiring explanations, description of experimental procedure, use of chemical symbols and formulae, writing of units and dealing with tasks that require practical experience. UNEP will issue detailed reports on the work of candidates to highlight these areas of concern in each subject area and make suggestions on how to handle them. Heads of centers are encouraged to obtain copies of these reports from UNEP publication outlets and make them available to teachers. Honourable Minister, these reports on work of candidates are really very important, but some of the teachers, when they get them, I think they don't give them out to the teachers. If they are given to the teachers, some of the few things we mentioned here should have been corrected when teaching. Indeed, these we take time to prepare these reports so that they can help, because we get our examiners to look at all these where candidates have gone wrong and to give advice again. But if these reports are not used, well, it makes a bit difficult. But I think we would encourage the head teachers to take these reports and give them out to the teachers. We try to get them out at least by the second term. So I appeal on our minister to head teachers to pay attention to this. Some of the things we are reporting here maybe wouldn't have come back again. Honourable Minister, in paragraph 7, I would just like to give gratitude. I wish to very sincerely thank you, Honourable Minister, and the Minister of Education and Sports for provision of funds that enabled the board to complete this exercise. I would also like to thank the Inspector General of Police, General Karikaihura, who put the resources of police throughout the country at UNEP's disposal during the examination period. This was the same at primary. If those officers are here, I will request them to stand up. If they are not here, at least they were seen at the primary. So they did a lot of good work for UNEP, reporting this every day, what is happening. And we thank the Inspector General who deployed them to us. They are still with us until results are released. I wish to thank the board chairman, Mr. Fagil Mande, my chairman here, the board members present, members of the Director, National Curriculum Development Center, Directorate of Education Standards, the universities, and all those who participated in monitoring of the field conduct of examinations in 2013. I thank the examiners whose hard work ensured that the marking ended on schedule. I am grateful to the head teachers of institutions that allowed UNEP to use their premises as marking centers. I congratulate all the candidates who passed the examination and thank their parents and the guardians for their support I encourage those who did not do well to try it again. Finally, in a very special way, I thank my staff at the UNEP Secretariat for their total dedication, commitment, and the personal sacrifices they made to ensure the release of these results. They have continued to uphold the credibility of the examination system in keeping with the board's vision to be a leading center of assessment for quality. I would also like to thank the parents, the members of the press, and all those who assisted UNEP by reporting some of these cases, and the support they have given UNEP. I thank you very much indeed. Paragraph 8, collection of results. Heads of UCE examination centers are advised to collect their results lists from UNEP offices at Ntinda, starting today, 25th, 2014, from 2 p.m. Apart from the school result lists, no individual results will be available from UNEP headquarters. Candidates, their parents, and any other person wishing to access results may do so through their mobile phones. Go to the message menu and type UCE, leave space, then type the correct index number of candidate. For instance, if your candidate is U001/001, you send that to 6600. On MTN last time I think gave us some problems, but there are always so many subscribers on that. Then Warid, Airtel, and Orange. These are the networks, I think, which are quite good. Honourable Minister, it should be noted that results obtained by this method are for notification only and cannot be tendered for official use. Result slips and certificates remain the only authentic proof for the performance, and the candidates should collect these from their schools where they registered. Honourable Minister, that ends what I would like to give you this morning, and with that I would like to request my chairman maybe to give a few remarks, and then we'll hand over the results to you.
Honourable Minister of Education and Sports, Honourable Ministers of State for Education, the Permanent Secretary, if represented, the Executive Secretary UNEP, the other directors, members of the board who are here, senior staff of the Ministry of UNEP Secretariat, heads of secondary schools, some are here, and dear members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I would like first of all to go into thanks, and I would like to begin by thanking the Executive Secretary and the staff of the Secretariat of UNEP for the very hard work they put into the preparation of these results. It's not been very easy, but they have done it. I keep saying that tough jobs go to those who are tough, and I would like to say we have a tough team of people who have worked under those conditions and produced what we are hearing now. I wish to assure the country that these results are a product of a very rigorous process where there are checks and balances. So be assured, everybody, the public, the press here, that what you are receiving now is exactly what the children did, properly produced by a team of experts. Honourable Minister, as you will have you will have heard from the executive secretary that the number of candidates has gone up. And of course, the analysis shows that it's gone up by about 10% over that one of 2012. And our statistics indicate that these are mainly USE children. So that means USE, in spite of some problems we are still facing, which I'm sure as a country will handle, is contributing towards getting our children to reach senior 4. And of course, that can be very good for our country. Nobody can reach that level without coming back with something useful. I would like, on behalf of the board, to thank in particular the president of the country, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for spearheading this program. And of course, Honorable Minister, I would like to say also for signing the bill on the gay. I think that is very great. I hope other African countries will follow suit. It takes a lot of guts for somebody to do that, you know very well. So I would like to thank him and the entire government and the Parliament of Uganda for supporting the programs of USE. Now, I would like to mention here, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Bukenya has also mentioned it, and this is for emphasis, that UNEB is moving away from cram work. We are definitely moving away from cram work because of the challenges which were mentioned by NCDC when they carried out their study, and also what we are finding out. We are going in to follow what our board is set to do. Our board is to ensure continuous improvement of validity and reliability of assessment. The board is focusing on unpredictability. How do we reach a level where UNEB can set exams which the children and the teachers have not predicted? It's a big challenge, but it is possible. These tough men and women at UNEB, plus other thinkers, will be able to do that and continuously do it. We want to catch everybody at a level where they can think, not just regurgitate what they crammed. We want to move away from being predictable. We want to gradually move into higher level or higher order thinking. We want to encourage critical thinking. We want to encourage problem solving and communication skills. I think Mr. Bukenya has put the point very, very well. Our children cannot express themselves. And this was also found out by NCDC when they carried out the missing gaps in the skills. Communication is one of them. So we want to move into that direction, and we shall continue moving in that direction. But of course, I must mention here, as Mr. Bukenya has mentioned, the teachers are trying to beat us in what I call a silly way, because now, for example, last year we had a question where there was a dialogue between the student and a policeman. And that was to introduce them to dialogue, communication, speech, talking, which will lead to playwriting and so on and so forth. We also did some questions on which would promote creative thinking. But as he has said, what the teachers do is to get a passage somewhere, either from Ogundipe or any other book, and make the children cram that. Now remember, they don't know what they are going to write about it, but they are made to cram. We saw very amazing examples where children were repeating certain expressions on that Balme day. You know, we all laughed when we were meeting in our meetings. So that is really, we would like to send out this message. This is an indicator that some of our teachers don't have the capacity themselves to teach creative writing. And I can assure you, very many of our teachers don't know how to write compositions. That means we must assist them. But of course, as a board, we are going to continue moving in that direction, and probably with the further training on the job, we hope the teachers will catch up. We want to follow our motto. We shall continue playing the tune as UNEB, and we shall expect the teachers and the learners and the parents to dance according to the tune. If we go in for credibility, if we go in for critical thinking, the teachers will go in also. We pray that that takes place. Now, Ladies and gentlemen, the teachers are not yet there. Our teachers need a lot of assistance. We note that a lot of our teachers are not equipped to respond to the demand of the curriculum and the examination. And I must remind members here that UNEB works closely with NCDC, which is represented here by Angela, seated there, to ensure that we are looking at solving the needs of real life. Now, the teachers need a lot of assistance, and we want to emphasize the following: that when we consider the cases of the examination malpractices and irregularities, the committee came across many cases of candidates, for example, in English, as I said earlier, language paper, who presented passages which they were made to cram from textbooks. This one, we must move away. But again, we must continue helping the teacher and helping the learners so that we are moving there. We are looking for originality of thought, we are looking for creativity, and we need to move into that direction. I would like to inform Honorable Minister and the members here that UNEB always prepares reports on the work of candidates. When our markers have finished marking, they make their observations and UNEB normally prints them. I would like to encourage the head teachers of schools and boards of governors, plus the teachers, to use these reports, because such things like Mr. Bukenya has reported, and I'm reporting from his report, would be answered by reading those reports. Those reports we have noted are not being bought to be used. We'd like the head teachers, please pick these reports, take them for your staff, and share with them, and also, if possible, share them with the students. Mr. Bukanya has talked very well on the question of science and mathematics. The board noted that the situation in science and mathematics is worrying. There appears to be little teaching, perhaps as a result of lack of teachers, because definitely we have a great shortage of science teachers, with the few available being shared between several schools. The rural schools appeared to be worse off because we have a problem. Some teachers don't go up there. They prefer to remain in the urban areas. The board appreciates that the ministry, with the help of the Japanese government through JICA, has been running a refresher courses for science and mathematics teachers through the SESMAT. This program is highly appreciated, and it has been running for several years now. It may be necessary to evaluate the performance of the teachers who have benefited from this program, if this has not been done already. Because as a board, we would expect a ripple effect to show in the performance of the candidates in the sciences and mathematics examinations. But of course, we need even bigger programs in order to increase the number of the science teachers. It is little wonder, Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, that over 90% of the malpractice cases for which results are withheld are in sciences and mathematics. This is an urgent need, and we need to address the problem of teachers in the subjects mentioned above. I would like to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that the board has been making consistent changes and improvements and brought in some innovations in the process of marking exams. For example, you might remember that the other year we introduced random numbers in some papers, but now we introduce random numbers for every paper. A random number is the number selected by our computer and our experts to be used without naming the school. And that has helped us now that by the time a teacher comes to mark an examination, the teacher does not have any knowledge on which school they are marking. And that has brought in more objectivity and of course reduced the stress, because you are simply marking a paper. Then after they have marked, we go back and retrieve the original names of the schools. We have also, as a board, and I think this was talked about last year, the conveyor belt marking. I would like to inform the members here that it is not true that one individual, Fajil Mande, or Charles Mugerwa or somebody marks a complete paper of any candidate. No. Teachers are selected according to their special areas, and they mark sections, parts of an examination, and then a central person puts together that. That has also helped us in avoiding bias and maybe some errors that would be made. That conveyor belt marking has helped us greatly. So you can see we are beginning to achieve more. hand over. That the minister now, very soon, will not have to carry. We are now becoming very conscious. It is too unnecessary weight. We have gone digital, and we shall hand over the CD.
Where is the CD?
It is being brought by somebody. Okay? So very soon you want to see the bulky thing. We have moved the digital. I would like to invite these people gathered here and the nation as a whole.
The Honorable Ministers of State, Ministry of Education and Sports, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, the Executive Secretary of UNEB, the Chairman of UNEB, members of the Board of UNEB, directors from the Ministry of Education and Sports, senior staff and officials from UNEB Secretariat, invited heads of secondary schools, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we release the results of Uganda Certificate of Education examination that was administered between 14th October and 22nd November 2013. I am glad to note that UNEB has prepared these results for release in February, and that is on schedule. The Uganda Certificate of Education examination was conducted in accordance with the regulations and no leakage was reported. Therefore, I would like to commend the board and staff of UNEB for their efforts to successfully plan for and manage the examination process. It is pleasing, ladies and gentlemen, to note that candidature at the Uganda Certificate of Education this year has increased significantly by over 26,000 students, with many of these candidates studying under the USE program. And therefore, this is a clear testimony that the program under the NRM government is enabling more and more disadvantaged children to complete the lower secondary education. And the completion rates for both boys and girls are high, as reported by the Executive Secretary. This indicates that the learners are entering school and remaining to the end of that particular cycle. In addition to that, there has been a relative drop in performance due to the increase in students who sat for the exams compared to the Uganda Certificate of Education performance in 2012. This drop, I would like to assure you, will be addressed by government through relevant departments and institutions which are charged with the responsibility of ensuring quality education for the children of Uganda. UNEB has consistently highlighted areas where schools must pay attention to in the various subject areas. And the Executive Secretary's statement still echoes these same problems, meaning that schools are not using this information to improve the teaching and learning process in their respective institutions. I would therefore like to call upon all the stakeholders to heed to the advice and guidance given by the examination board, to take the remedial measures to address the identified shortcomings. I would like to applaud the improvement in performance in English and biology. These two subjects in particular have always been poorly done over the past years. I believe that this reported improvement is attributed to the great input made by the Ministry of Education and Sports through the supply of science equipment to schools and the SESEMAT program, which we have annually used to retool the science teachers. The percentage of students failing science, though, is still high. So schools must address the causes of this problem. The number of results being withheld for malpractice has increased. It is reported that most of these cases involve external assistance in sciences and mathematics. Such cases, if teachers are involved, are unprofessional, shameful, and go against the teacher's code of conduct. Once investigations are concluded, I ask UNEB to forward this report to the Ministry of Education and Sports for expeditious action. I direct UNEB to withdraw the examination center numbers of the schools that have persistently featured in malpractice. The Ministry of Education and Sports has done the following to improve on the performance and the quality of education